Hello everybody, welcome to day 3 of our Treasure Trove Beadalong, and you can see that I am starting to get quite the treasure trove, starting to feel a little bit like a dragon here, hoarding my my treasures, my precious. So today we are going to be learning how to make the base for our larger beads, which are 3-hole beads. Now, if you don't want one of the holes, you could sew across the top, but the fun thing about these beads is the way that they are, able to stack in different ways. So, you might want to leave all 3 open until you know what you're going to do with it. Anyway, so we're going to learn how to make the base for our solitaire bead, which we'll be doing tomorrow. And this is the same base for our butterfly bead as well. So if you want to make 2 different beads, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, you're going to need to make 2 bases. If you want to make one of them as a ring, like I have done here, okay, that is also an option. So this is the butterfly bead as a ring, and I will show you how to do that right at the end. Okay, so let's get started with our base. So we're going to be doing the exact same stitch that we used for our smaller bead. It's just going to be on a bigger scale. Okay, so we're going to be picking up 8 of our A color again, just like we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Push that all down, and you're going to need a really long piece of thread here. Like I would get a full wingspan. This does eat the thread, okay? So get a nice long piece, because you really don't want like loose ends. You don't want to tie any knots, and you don't want any loose ends because you're going to be sewing through the base later, so you don't want to fill anything up that you might need later. Oh my goodness, do you know what I've done? I just realized I have poured a whole bunch of 15 O's out, thinking I was pouring out 8 O's. Sorry, 11 O's, and now they're all mixed up. Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on. I got to sort this out. Just a minute. Okay, I fixed it, guys. Tell me that I'm not the only person who's ever done that. Poured a whole bunch of 15 O's out thinking they were 11 O's and mixing them in with their 11 O's. Okay, luckily there were not very many 11s, so it was easy to separate them, but oh my goodness. Okay, so once we have our 8 and we are going through our first 2, we're going to just form our diamond like we've been doing all along. And what we're going to be doing here, I'll show you in 1 second, is we're going to be building a structure that is 7 diamonds long and 2 diamonds high. Okay, so let me get my last one on and move up to the next point. Okay, so there is my first diamond. Okay, since we've been doing this the last 2 days, I figure you guys know what you're doing, so I'm going to go a little bit faster than I normally would. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, I'm going to show you on the instructions. We're going to be building a lattice that is 7 diamonds long and 2 diamonds tall. So I'll do the first 4 diamonds with you, and then I'll leave you to finish the rest because it just repeats. So what I like to do is I start with the upper left hand corner, okay? And for every one, remember you're picking up 8 to start with. It doesn't matter where it is in the piece. You're always starting with 8 of your A color, okay? You're sewing through the B that's already there, and then you're passing through the next 2. So here I don't have any corners already except for that one that we're building off of. So we're going to have to add 3 corners. So just work your way around the beadwork. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. And then remember where you started, you always have to skip that one because the others were added afterwards and we want to make it into a nice pointy diamond, okay? So skip that one that you started in and move down to the next corner. Now, sometimes, for example, in this next one that we're going to be doing that means that you will have to sew around 3 sides of your diamond to get to the next bit, but sometimes it means you just have to sew down to the next corner. So it all works out evenly in the end, okay? Now I'm not saying you have to do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 like I'm doing. If you want, you can do 7 and 7 back, but I actually think this does save a tiny bit of thread, and I just find it easier to kind of count and everything, you know. I just think this is a better method. But I'll leave that up to you. No, there's not a right or a wrong way to do it, okay? So again, I'm picking up 8. I'm going through the first 2, and I'm going to add my gold bead. And you know, make sure that you're using a good tension. Hopefully you are using a nylon thread as suggested, which will help you kind of, when you feel it boing, that means that you've kind of pulled it tight enough, okay? And then we have one more to do. So this is what I'm talking about right here. So remember we started in this one right here, okay? Started, so don't go into that gold bead. We have to skip that gold bead so that it pops outwards, okay? Now, if you accidentally miss one, is it going to affect the entire structure of your bead? Not really. I'm just trying to teach you how to do it correctly. You know, I guess I'm being a perfectionist, whatever. Okay, if you're not a perfectionist, or you're a new beader and you accidentally miss one, please don't panic. It's absolutely fine. All of this is going to be covered up. You can hardly see the base through the beads. So, you know, if you do kind of mess up or whatever, like you accidentally don't remember to skip the bead that you started in, that's okay, all right? Don't beat yourself up. It's all a learning process here. I'm just trying to teach you how to do it. So remember what I said, we always are going to be starting with 8 beads. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So here I'm starting with 8. Even though there's a bead right here, I'm starting with 8, okay? I'm going through the bead that my thread is coming out of, okay? You're always going to start with that loop. And then you're going to attach it on to the bead that is there. So go through your 2, and then that's going to be your corner bead, okay? So there's my corner for that one. I don't need to pick up a bead. I'm just going to use that bead that's right there. And then I'm going to go down through the next beads. And here, obviously, I'll need to add 1. And here I will need to add 1. And here I will need to skip because this is the bead that I started in, so I need to skip it, okay? And then I'll have to work my way over to here to start the next one. And this starts the whole pattern again. So you'll go this way, you'll go this way, you'll go this way, you'll have to go around and you'll go this way. So keep going until you have 7 across and 2 down. So I'll do that off screen and I'll come back when I am at that point. Okay, welcome back. I hope you got that done okay. So we now have 7 diamonds going across. You can count the points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 down, okay? So now if you followed my path by building them this way, you're gonna be here, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be over here, so just flip it over, okay, so that you're here, so we can all be together, okay? All right, so now we are going to build an 8th unit, but our 8th unit is going to join on, and I'm going to show you that in 1 second. So go ahead, pick up your next 8 beads, and sew through your ending bead. And then you're going to build your next corner just like we have been doing. So just pick up a seed bead there. Okay. Go through the next 2. And then here we're going to fold our piece over, okay? So you're going to count. So here's the junction between our first and our second and our third and our fourth and our fifth. So this junction right here, okay? I'm coming out, my thread's going upwards. I'm gonna sew upwards into that bead that is right kind of in the middle there, okay? So I've got 4 here, 4 here, okay? And this is the one I'm working on now. So you're going up. If your thread's going up, you're going up. If your thread's going down, you're going down into that bead, okay? And we're going to fold it inwards, and let me get this tail out of the way for you. Okay, so when you pull it, you want it to fold upwards, okay? And join on right there, okay? Then we have to continue on. Let me pull you in a little bit as well, just so that you guys can really see what's going on. So we're here coming out of this gold bead. We're going to go up the next 2 of our beads right here, okay? And we're going to pick up our next gold bead just like we would be doing anyway, okay? Go down the next 2. And just try and keep that tight, okay? This is where we have to skip our bead. So skip over that next corner bead and go down to the bottom. And then we have to work our way up to the top here. So just circle around. So you're going to be passing through that middle gold bead. Again, actually, you can skip that bead if you want to, because you know, you might just want to go through the B beads here. You don't need to go into that one as long as you feel like it's attached on and, you know, pretty tight and everything, okay? All right, so go up the next 2 and through your gold bead. And then right here, we're going to join another unit. So go ahead, pick up 8. Just like we've been doing all along. So pick up your 8, and whatever side your thread's coming out of, go into the other side of that bead, okay? And we're gonna use the beads that are already in position for our side beads here. So we're going to go up through the first 2 beads on that circle that we just added, okay? Then we're gonna go up through this bead that's here above. And do you see how we're kind of forming like a little sort of square at the end if you lay it down and look at it? Okay, it's like a little square at the end. So we have a strip and then a little square at the end. Okay, so we've gone through our gold bead, go up through the next 2 beads, pick up another gold bead, go through the next 2 beads. Now this time here, my thread is pointing downwards, so I'm going to sew downwards into the gold bead that is 4 units over, between the 4th and the 5th unit. So I'm going down, so I'm going down, okay? Just make sure that you're going the same direction that your thread is already moving. Okay, and then continue down through those next 2 beads right there. And then this is where we have to skip because we started this loop right here. So go ahead and skip that. And then it's optional. You could either go through this one or skip it, okay? I think I'll go through it. And no, actually you do need to go through it. So you're gonna stop right there. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. So we have a flat piece and we have kind of a square built, okay? And we are coming out at the top back, like the front bead, front corner gold bead right here, okay? So now we're going to build another unit right here, and it's going to join onto this bead here, okay? So go ahead, pick up your 8 seed beads. Okay, once you've got your 8 beads on, we're coming out the top of that gold bead, so go through the bottom of that gold bead to form the loop, okay? And then we're going to move through the first 2 beads right here. We're going to pick up our gold bead. We're going to go through the second 2 beads of our loop, okay? And here our thread is going downwards, so we're going to sew down into the bead that is after the second diamond. So 1, 2, this is the bead we're going to sew down into, okay? So sew down into that bead. And that, so we're now building our second box going across, okay? So now we have to, once we've gone through that bead, we have to go through the next 2 beads on the unit that we're working on now, okay? So just continue on, we're going downwards, so go down through those. You're gonna pick up your gold bead. You're gonna go up through the next 2 beads on that diamond, okay? Give it a pull, and then remember this is where we started, so we need to skip that bead, okay? Go ahead and move forward through the beads. And we're going to work our way all the way down to this point. So you can, if you want to, you can skip the gold bead. I'm going through it. It's up to you. Where the join is. And coming out from that bottom gold bead. So now we need to build another unit right here. Okay, so go ahead, pick up your 8. And once you've got your 8, you're coming out that side. So I'm going to enter into the other side of the bead to form that circle. Oops, sorry. Got stuck on the corner of my beading mat. Okay. Okay, so there is my circle that I've just added. I'm going to go down the first 2 beads just like usual, okay? And then I'm going to connect onto this gold bead right here, and my thread's going down, so I need to sew down through that bead in order to connect. Then I'm going to move forward through the next 2 beads, just like normal. I'm going to pick up a seed bead, and I'm going to go up through the next 2 beads. And here I am sewing in an upwards direction, so I'm going to go into that second corner of those first 2 diamonds. I'm going into the second right hand corner, okay? And I'm going up because my thread is going upwards, so I'm sewing upwards, trying not to get caught on that corner. Okay, and then I have to pass through the next 2 beads on this diamond that I'm working on at the moment. Okay, and then I have to skip the this bead that's in the middle here, so I'm going to just sew through those next 2. Easier said than done. Okay, so then I've skipped my starting bead. I am just going to skip that corner bead because it's a little buried and move down here. And then we're going to move forward till we get to this point. So you should now have 2 boxes, okay? So we're going to sew down and actually, let me see, how are we going to do this? No, you're going to have to sew up, sorry. We're going to sew diagonally up on the flat side, okay? And then down. And down. And actually just keep going all the way until you get to the end of, so we've gone up, we've gone down, and we're just going over to the very end here, okay? So just go down to the end of your strip. All right, and once you're at the end of your strip, so this is where we are coming out here, okay? We're going to build 1 more unit on the end here, and it is going to connect on right here, okay? So we're going to basically have a series of 3 boxes. So go ahead, pick up your 8, whatever side you're coming out on of that bead, go through the other side to form that circle. Go down the first 2 beads. Let me see if I can get this tail out of the way so it's not going to confuse you. Okay, so we're coming out the first 2 beads here. Go ahead, pick up your gold bead, just like normal. Go through the next 2 beads, and here is where we're going to join. Okay, so get your first bead on, then we're going to join, and we're going to join this way. Now my thread is coming out onto the right, so I'm going to sew left to right through that gold bead. Okay, and this is the bead that is at the corner. Okay, so we're trying to build a series of 3 boxes. So just like that, okay? And then go ahead and sew up through the next 2 beads. Pick up your little corner bead. This is back to where we started, so we're going to skip the next bead and we're going to move up to the gold bead here, and then we're going to build our very last unit of draw. Okay, just if you have your tail, keep it on the outside of your bead. Don't let it slip to the inside because then it'll be stuck in there. Okay, okay, so pick up your last 8 beads. Okay, and then go ahead, whichever side you're coming out of, you're going to sew into the other side of that gold bead. just like what we have been doing the whole time. Then we're going to sew down through the first two on that circle that we just formed. Okay, so here we are coming out the first two. See how I'm coming out the first two? You're going to sew sideways, so my thread is going in the direction right to left, so I'm going to sew right to left through that gold bead. Okay, then I'm going to sew up through. You might need to kind of move that over. I'm going to sew up through the next two beads on my circle. Okay, here we need to add a bead. Go through the next two beads. Just trying to get that pulled in a little tighter there. And then here my thread is going out to the right, so I'm going to sew from left to right through that last gold bead that is hanging out ready for me. Okay, and down through the next two beads on the same diamond that I'm working on. Give it all a nice pull, and then I have to skip that bead right here because that is where I started. Okay, and then go ahead and work your way up until you come out one of the points on the top. So I'm just moving up to the point. All right, so you should now have a structure that has 3 holes and is 2 tall, 3 wide, and then on the sides it's 1 wide. Okay, so if you got this far, well done. You've got the base of your bead almost. We just need to add the rim around the edge. Okay, so the rim around the edge is exactly the same as the rim that we used for our smaller beads. So all it is a B, a C, and a B, which is an 11, an 8, oh, and 11. So I'm coming out here, just going to the very next point on the edge of the bead, okay? And then pick up the same again. Even at the corners, just keep going around the edge of the bead, okay? Okay, and when you get back to your starting point, go ahead, move through that middle bead plus the next 11 and the 8-0. Okay, so you're going to come out from the 8-0 here. Okay, and then you're going to pick up 2 of your 11-0s. Okay, so 2. You're going to go through the one that's in between right here. Okay, and pick up 2 more, and then we're going to continue around the circle. So if we were going this way, we'd be going back through our 8-0 right here like this. Okay, and then we're going to go back through all of these 5 beads in the middle here. I missed that last one. Hang on. Okay, so once you've, see how that's centered it here, so then we're going to pass again through that 8-0 and continue. I'm going to continue all the way around till I get over here. On the instructions, I actually came from the other direction, but as long as you get it filled in, it doesn't matter which direction you approach from, okay? So go ahead and get all the way over till you're exiting from the next 8-0. Just be careful when you're going that you don't skip any of these slightly lower down 11-0s. They're kind of easy to skip, okay? So once you're coming out from the next 11-0, you're going to again pick up 2 of your, next 8-0, you're going to pick up 2 of your 11-0s, pick up 2 more, sew through that whichever side you came out on you're going into, and then we're going to circle back through all 5 of those beads. Same concept as yesterday, where you're always drawing a box, okay? Okay, and once you get through your 5 beads, you can just continue. So whichever side you started on, you're going to go into the other side of that 8-0, okay? And then you're going to sew forward until you come out of the second 11-0 after the 8-0. So right here, the second one, or you might be coming on this side depending on what you're doing, okay? So this is what the top of our bead now looks like. So we have to repeat this on the bottom, but we're going to add a couple beads on the way. So our bead has 3 diamonds going across the front, okay? And we're coming out from the point of the first diamond. So we're going to go down through the first 2 A's and the B bead, okay? We're going to add the same thing that we added up here. So you're going to pick up a B, a C, and a B. So an 11-0, an 8-0, and 11-0. And you're going to sew down into the next bead down right here, okay? Then you can flip your bead over, sew up through your A's to exit from a point. We're going to add the same edging around the top. So again, the 11, 8-0, and 11. And when you get back to the end, go ahead and sew forward until you come out from the first 8-0 there, okay? Go ahead and add your 2 11-0s in between each. And whatever side you started on, go in that side, circle back down through those 5 again. And through the next, the 8-0, entering onto the other side from the side where you started. So if you started on the left side of that 8-0, enter into the right side of that 8-0. Okay, and then we have to do the strip across here as well. So pick up 2, enter into the that middle bead, pick up 2, enter into the 8-0 on the opposite side, work your way back through all 5 of those beads. Do, 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 do. And enter into the 8/0 from where you, you know, not the side that you started on, the other side, and pass through the next 2 B beads. Okay, so you want to be coming out from the B bead that is at the point of your diamond. Okay, give that all a nice pull. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so now we have to add this bit on this side right here. So these are your 3 diamonds. We're coming out from the point of that diamond here, and we're going to sew down through the first 3 beads, so the 2 A's and the B bead. Okay. You're going to pick up a B, a C, and a B again. Okay. Sew down into that next gold bead that's right underneath. Okay, just like this. And then we're going to sew forward down through the next 2 A's. Then you're going to sew up through the next 2 A's and out through that gold bead that's in the middle. Okay. And we're going to add another embellishment here. So again, you're going to pick up a B, a C, a B. Okay, so an 11, an 8, and an 11. You're going to go up through that next gold bead that's in there. It might be a little bit hidden. It's right underneath the 8/0 that's above. Okay. And then we're going to work our way over this diamond. So go up the next 2 A beads. And go down the next 2 A beads. And down through that gold bead there. And then we're going to add one more embellishment here. Go down through that next bead. And then you can tie off your thread. Now you want to tie it off somewhere in the back here because we're not going to really be sewing through this area anymore. So you can use these back beads. This is technically the front of our bead. Okay, this is the front of our bead. This is the back. So try, and any tails, you can go ahead and sew them in, but sew them in on the back so that we're not filling up any beads on the front. Okay. And so that is, I'll leave that here because we still have to talk about the ring base. Okay, so if that's what you're doing, then go ahead, sew in your bead. You're ready to go. Okay, if you're making a ring base, you're going to make a unit that is 5. Okay, 5 across, 2 up and down. So just like what we did earlier. 5 across, 2 up and down, and you'll be coming out the corner here. Okay, you're going to move forward until you get to that very first bottom. Okay, first bead on the bottom, and we're going to embellish our edge. So you're going to pick up the same thing, the BCB. Okay, you're going to go through the next bead, go through the next bead, go through the next bead, one more time, go through the next bead. So you should have 4, okay? Then you're just going to scooch over to the next corner bead. You're going to add 1 unit on the edge here. You're going to scooch around the corner to the next corner bead. And then again, you're going to add 4 on this side. And you'll notice that the ring does start to kind of bend in a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't pull it super tight at this point, but you can let it bend a little bit, okay? Just a gentle curve, okay? And then at the end here, once you've got that, you have to just add that last little unit on. Okay. What I would do is just sew through the next few beads and try and leave your tail loose, and then sew it in at the end, okay? So you're just going to have to deal with a loose tail, but that will be a ring base. So if you want to do the ring base, that's what that is. So you can kind of see it in there. All right. And you can see the embellishment, the 4 AOs along the top there, okay? And here you can see the embellishment is where I've built my ring edge off of, that side embellishment right there, okay? All right, so hopefully you have either 2 bases ready to go for the next couple days, or you have a base and a ring base. But pre-prepare your bases for tomorrow, and tomorrow we will be doing our solitaire bead, which is this one. And you can remember, you can either use a 6mm bicone or a 6mm round. It doesn't matter, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.